Welcome to the Pot.Live podcast. I'm your host, Lenny G. This podcast is all about connecting the community with the thought leaders of business and entertainment in the cannabis industry. As this industry expands and becomes more and more mainstream, we want to educate and entertain our listeners and become your choice and voice for all things cannabis. Thanks for joining us and enjoy the show. Are you ready to be a VIP? Well, Culture Club is ready to bring you thousands of dollars in exclusive deals with the touch of a finger. Simply visit cultureclubusa.com, sign up, and you will get immediate access to dozens of CBD products, services, vacation rentals, over 1,800 vacation rentals, sports gear for all the top pro leagues, all of them, and educational courses. And check this out, a free $100 gift as soon as you sign up. Culture Club is basically paying you to become a member. It's a no-brainer. Go to cultureclubusa.com and become a VIP today. Welcome to another episode of the Pot.Live podcast. I'm your host, Lenny G, and today we have special guests. That's right, guests, plural. We have a husband and wife team, Martha and Curt Van Inwegen. I had to make sure I said that right. They're the founders of Life Elements. That is a CBD brand, and they're going to tell us about their journey. They have some unique, awesome things they're doing, and we're going to dive into everything about Curt and Martha. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, why don't you tell everybody, for the listeners out there, tell us who you are. I don't want to do all the justice of giving a bio about your company. Tell us first what the company is, Life Elements, and then I want to dive into your personal journeys as well. So Martha, why don't you lead us off, and then Curt, you can do the same.
Sure. We started Life Elements in 2006 as a skin and body care manufacturer, all natural, things that weren't in the marketplace at the time. And so since then, we have continued to build our company and being known for handcrafting, making everything ourselves. You know, we develop all our own formulations. We do all our manufacturing here in our own facilities. And now we've gotten into the CBD space, but it all started by us creating a bath and body line for couples. And from that, we've pivoted several times. And one of our other products was called Action Wipes, which a lot of burners that go to Burning Man and music festival goers and outdoor enthusiasts have used for years. Then we got into making honey and we became beekeepers, made honey. And out of that, we developed a honey-based skincare line. And from that, we got into the CBD and honey brand. So that's kind of a quick journey. Curt, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple of things. The first line that we had was called C&M Couples, and it was born from, we were both in technology and traveling quite a bit and felt we needed a way to reconnect with each other. You know, you're traveling, you're just getting home, and you need almost a ritual to reconnect. And after some brainstorming up in Napa, Martha came up with these products that were really aromatherapy products for couples. And we went all in, and this business lesson number one is we went all in. We bought a ton of inventory, started doing well. I was working full time. Martha was leading the charge and selling the products at high-end boutiques and hotels as part of their couples packages. And one of the entrepreneur lessons is about pivoting. The market fell out in 2007, and we were left with 6 figures worth of inventory. And one of the products was called the Tela de Amor, which was a towelette for after sex. And that's what turned into Action Wipes. And so
it's a lesson in rebranding and remarketing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast about that specifically. But Action Wipes came to be the very first body wipe in the industry to be verified by the Environmental Working Group as a safe body wipe. And then we also were selling that product to over 400 fire departments across the country and Canada and Australia. And that was part of our line of this natural body care, which became the Life Elements collection. And so there's lots of twists and turns in our journey, but since experimenting with cannabis marijuana-derived THC and CBD blends, and specifically hemp-derived CBD. We landed on what we thought was a really nice place in terms of being able to sell it without having to work with dispensaries, in part because as a topical, THC doesn't have a whole lot of value. So we settled on hemp-derived CBD. The CBD and honey line launched last year, and here we are.
Great. So you hit on a few things there I want to touch on. So, well, first of all, you being in two of the biggest emerging industries or actual industries, the sexual wellness industry and the cannabis industry, if you will, is pretty cool. So first of all, let's dive into Life Elements. Tell me about the different products you offer right now. You mentioned a few of them. What does the product line encompass right now? How much of it is CBD? How much of it is just beauty products? Tell us a little bit more about the product line.
Sure. We still develop a product. Our main focus are topicals, of course, but we still develop a line that does not include CBD, and that is called the Healing Honey Collection. And again, that comes from our beekeeping background. From that, we spun off the CBD and honey, and that includes ache and pain relief sticks, a moisturizing stick, body oils. Our biggest seller are our bath bombs, and those are unique in that there's a lot of companies out there that are making CBD bath bombs, but the way that we are making them is rather time consuming, which makes them very effective. We individually dose each and every single bath bomb that we make so that we ensure that the user is getting the full dosage that we are saying is in the bath bombs. And so we offer a variety of dosages. We have like a 50 milligram bath bomb, which we liken to a Swedish massage. It's kind of like getting a massage in your tub. We have a 100 milligram bath bomb that we liken to a sports massage. And then we have a 200 and 250 milligram bath bomb that's kind of like a deep tissue massage. So what we like to say is, it's not an expensive bath bomb, it's an inexpensive massage. And so those are our top sellers. And then we go on from that with lip balms and coming out with a whole new facial collection as well. We're also getting into vegan products that do not have the honey in them, but I am using a bark from Mexico called Tepescohuite, and that is unique in itself. It's amazing on the skin, and so that combined with the CBD makes it just a great skin repair oil and balms.
Beautiful. So I do want to give you some kudos, Martha, and no offense, Curt, but as a female-led operation here by Martha, you're one of the few. I think it's only 2% of female-led companies surpass $1 million mark in revenue, and I believe you just surpassed that. Is that correct?
Correct, and that's an annual revenue. And I hate to brag about this, but
brag, Martha, brag.
But this is my second company that we've reached that milestone, so I'm really proud of that. And so we're very excited about it. And, the year hasn't even ended yet. So we're hoping to go far beyond that.
That's fantastic. Congrats to both of you for that. That's
Thank
excellent.
you.
So just before we forget later, tell the listeners where they can learn more about Life Elements.
Sure. You can find us at lifeelements.com. And we're also on several other platforms like fleurmarche.com and missgrass.com.
Excellent. Excellent. So let's dive into your journey, Martha. I know that you didn't come from an affluent background. I believe you grew up in Mexico. Is that correct?
That's true. I was raised in Mexico until the age of 6.
And tell us about your upbringing there. And maybe, I want to dive into these people of all different demographics that are starting businesses in this industry. And some people believe they can do it. Some people believe they can't. Tell us some of the obstacles that you had, growing up maybe in that type of upbringing, and then how you met Curt and how you guys meshed as a couple.
Sure. Well, my upbringing in Mexico, it's when you think of Mexico, you think of Guadalajara, you think Mexico City, Puerto Vallarta, these, beautiful locations. Where I was born and raised was a very tiny, what I would call a village. At the time, there was no electricity, no running water. I was raised by my grandparents, and my mother was working in the United States. And so as part of that, my grandfather was a farmer. He would take us, even at that early age, we would go with him to the fields, and my grandmother would send us to take him his lunch or his breakfast. And so it, like you said, it wasn't an affluent upbringing. It was very, very minimalistic. And, there was no doctors, hospitals, anything, clinics of any sort nearby. So everything had to be made at home. If we got sick, it was my grandmother who made the tinctures or who made the salves. Everything was either grown in the backyard, or we would go out to the fields and hills of our town and gather what she would need. But that's how I became fascinated, and that stayed with me, and how I began creating products later on in life. I was brought to the U.S. at the age of 7 to start school, but that stayed within me, and again, my father was in the Navy, and we grew up very modestly, but just growing up, I was always experimenting with what my mother was growing in the backyard, because she too grew up with that, with that knowledge. And so it was fun making things with her. And then later on, I got into technology somehow, and I was in technology for 25 years. And that's how Curt and I met. He was working for a marketing firm. And as I mentioned previously, I did have a former company that I developed with another partner. It was in technology. And, that's how we met.
Great.
It's a little short. That's my side of the story.
Yeah. Well, Curt, let me ask you now. So my wife and I own several businesses and operate them together, and we work fantastic together. We know our roles. We have different strengths and weaknesses. Curt, if you can talk about, for the people out there that, some people say, don't work with family, don't work with your spouse. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience, Curt, working with your wife and building this company together?
Yeah. Another life lesson, one of the things that we learned, we went to marital counseling before we got married. And that was a really good experience. We both had kids. I had not been married previously, but that experience of having real conversations and not being afraid of a little bit of conflict, not fighting and yelling and throwing conflict, but just a disagreement about something, and having the tools to work through that was absolutely massive. And that kind of set the stage for our relationship. And then as we did all the things you're not supposed to do in 1 year, we got married, we both changed our jobs, we both sold our homes at the time, we moved in together, and then we moved away from where we were. We moved from San Diego up to where we live now in Tascadero area. And so, it's like any other relationship. As an executive, I used a lot of relationship conversations with my staff, which is, you have a customer, you need to take care of it. You need to foster that relationship. And it's just like, we're sitting here right next to each other, and, we each need our own space, but we ultimately have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. And like you said, Martha's the one that's the driver behind the company. We wouldn't be here if she hadn't had the drive and the perseverance just to get something done and to launch it. And for 7 years, she was really doing it on her own, and I was helping on the weekends. But at a point in time in 2013, I had the ability to leave my position. We had got bought out. And so I started to ease myself in, and we found that we had something, and off to the races.
We complement each other really well, because he has his area of expertise, which is the marketing and leading the employees and everything, whereas I'm, developing product and getting all that manufactured. So it's a great relationship. And believe it or not, we rarely ever even fight.
Yeah, that's great.
I like to tell people that, Martha's stubborn. She's a bull. I like to say that Martha's the one that jumps off the cliff, and it's my job to catch her.
Perfect. And you know what? That goes for any partnership, right? Whether you're married or not. You see a lot of people, and I'm sure you've been through many partnerships in your life, as have I, and some good, some bad. But the ones that really work are the ones where you can recognize each other's strengths and weaknesses and complement each other, not try to outdo each other. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that story. So let's talk for the business owners out there that maybe aren't or are married or working with their spouse. Either way, can you tell us some of the obstacles when you started? Obviously, you had the health and beauty line before that, but when you started getting into CBD, let's make it specific to the cannabis industry. What have been some of the hurdles or obstacles that you guys have had to deal with just from being in this industry perspective?
Well, first of all, the first obstacle, of course, was, the marijuana, getting into the marijuana, because that's how I started the formulations. I was actually using the cannabis CBD, and with that comes a little THC, but it was difficult to to get licensing here in our own city. Our county, they're not on board yet. And so that was the first difficulty. So that's why we had to switch over and start testing with the hemp-derived CBD. So once we got our formulations and everything stabilized, that's what we released last March. But along the way, we also had all the issues that most companies are going through in this industry as well. And that is the insurance, liability insurance for CBD products. We had banking issues. We had credit card issues. Curt, what else have we have to overcome?
Advertising. All these basic fundamentals as a small business that you normally, take for granted, like being able to have insurance, like being able to advertise, being able to sell online, maybe down the road, even selling on Amazon. None of those things are available or only available in very interesting ways to somebody that's in the CBD space, particularly.
Yeah, I think there's everyone that's in the spaces are going through those same or trying to jump those same hurdles. And hopefully when we're recording this, I know the last week, the House of Representatives finally passed the Safe Banking Act, and hopefully the Senate and President will do the same thing. And we can all actually act like a normal business instead of trying to cut corners and everything like that to make it work for our customers. So obviously there's a million CBD brands out there. So I know you have some different technology initiatives that you're dealing with right now. How are you differentiating Life Elements from the other plethora of brands out there?
So the key word is differentiation. And, there's a lot of brands out there, super sexy, got a lot of Instagram followers, some real, some fake. And there's a lot of these different metrics, but the differentiation is the absolute hardest thing in any business to really have. If you have a patent or something like that, that's kind of obvious, Shark Tank wisdom, that is a differentiator. But when you're producing a quality product, there's a lot of companies that are producing true quality products. There's a lot of companies that have expertise in a particular aspect of the business. Ours is topicals. And so that differentiation is really tough. And so one of the ways is that we are focusing on Martha's story, and we can talk about that as part of our rebrand because that's really big. The other is how we actually make the products. We've learned from some of our other past businesses that working with contract manufacturers, co-packers, is a really tenuous relationship in terms of quality and
retaining ownership
of your materials and your recipes. But we've done very well with our bath bombs. We've received the most press and accolades from our bath bombs. And one of the ways that we truly differentiate ourselves is that we individually dose each bath bomb. And for those that don't know, super quick, you make a bath bomb similar to making a cake. You have a dry ingredient, baking soda and citric acid, for example, and then you add some essential oils to it that make it different, and then you press it. But when people are making the bath bombs, they're typically overwhelmingly using isolate. And as people in the space know, CBD isolate is just what we said. It's just CBD. It doesn't have all the other terpenes and other cannabinoids that are in there. When they make their batch, they add a bucket of CBD, whatever it is, and they mix it all around with the hope that each individual bath bomb will get that exact dosage. 100 milligrams is 100 milligrams. And we weren't convinced that we could get that kind of continuous efficacy and dosage. So we individually weigh out all of our doses. And it's also important to note that we use a broad spectrum powder, water-soluble nano powder, which makes it much more available to your body when you're actually using it and taking a bath. And so obviously weighing out thousands of individual doses in tiny amounts is really tedious, but that's what we've been doing. However, we have been working with a company here in California that specializes in robots, optical robots, the ability to pick something up and move it and replace it, kind of a bench-sized robot, if you will. And we are getting our first beta prototype of this machine, which will allow us to weigh the CBD, not necessarily autonomously, but much more accurately without waste and without wasting a whole bunch of an employee's time, so that those doses are consistent, accurate, and keeps working.
But it's cool that it's using artificial intelligence to do the weighing and things. And so, we're really stepping up our game in terms of technology and machinery and equipment that we're starting to purchase.
That's great. That's how you need to, obviously, I mean, you guys, I'm sure know this, but that's how you need to really market your brand to be different. So like I said, there's brands all over the place and they just don't know how to market because the new user in this space cannot tell the difference between the brands. And that's why you're seeing lawsuits now happen, because some of the big brands that market heavily, like Curt said, all over Instagram are getting sued because somebody independently tested their edibles or whatever their products are, and there's nothing in them that they say are in them, right? Because there's no regulation on the space. So for you to have that technology to individually make sure that what you're saying is in every bath bomb, that's a huge marketing tool for you. So that leads into my next question. How are you getting the word out there about your brand?
It's been a lot of social media. We have Instagram channel, life.elements. And we also have Facebook, but we've been using a lot of opportunities to get on podcasts and get mentioned in magazines. We've had a lot of press, so we've been very fortunate, and that was very purposeful. When we started this and when we launched the product in 2018, we knew that Pandora's box was going to open once the Farm Bill Act passed. And so in preparation for that, we did hire a PR agency, not an expensive one, but we started getting our name out there and getting known for the quality of our products and efficacy of the products. And so that's, one of the ways that we've been doing it.
Yeah, and the PR game is a little tricky, as you probably know. And for the people out there, PR is a little bit of a double-edged sword, but I think the one thing for people to know about PR is it does take time, and you really have to plant the seeds. You can get lucky, but for the most part, it's going to take you several months, 6 months at least, to have your PR agency or person really understand what's resonating in the market, what the media is looking for. And it's awareness, that whole marketing chain still exists. You need to build awareness before you can start getting people interested. And that's something that we learned. So we had a good 6 to 7 months of PR work happening before we really started seeing some results. And then we did get lucky. We got some nice mentions in some prominent publications, and that really helps a lot.
But it's also, too, working, we do blogs, so we have a lot of SEO on our website. We do A/B testing with our newsletters that go out every week. And so the combination of everything, I think, has put us at the top of the market.
Excellent. So what's the exit strategy for a brand like yours? Is it to build just a recurring revenue model, or is it to build a brand that's attractive enough when everything is mainstream that some big boy scoops you up? Have you given thought to that yet?
I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was looking up, we're going to be going to a costume party soon. And so I was looking up the character that I'm going to go as, and I looked up, is she still alive? Is she dead? What happened? And I looked it up, and, there was a lot of information about her. And I realized one of the things that I want to do is to leave a mark. I want to be able, at the end of my life, to say, I built a great company, I built great products, and I want them to still be used when I'm gone. And I want my kids to be a part of that. We have 3 children, and so we want that to continue. But at the end of the game, Curt has other plans.
A few years ago, we've had our own very good successes in industry and stuff like that. And my mom asked me a few years ago, well, how come you guys don't have rental properties? And I said, the business is our rental property. That's where everything's going. The first thing we want to do is build it into a sustainable company, meaning sustainable from a business perspective, that we now have employees that we're responsible for, and making sure that we don't do anything stupid to endanger them in terms of their financial viability. And we know that the money will come. We've looked at investment opportunities from outside investors, but every time we did that, I said, we decided to wait, just another quarter because the numbers kept going up. So we're pretty proud that we're self-funded. And I think there is an opportunity to build a very differentiating brand that could partner with a larger organization or somebody that's got a portfolio of companies that we fit and tuck nicely into. But we've all been in those kinds of deals, like you said. And so we're just taking our time and really looking for somebody that we really trust and respect.
Great. Thank you for sharing all of this stuff, guys. I appreciate it. So before we finish up, I'm going to ask each of you the question that we always finish with. So I'll start with you this time, Curt. Give us one thing that you're excited about in the industry and one thing that concerns you.
The thing that excites me the most is a fairly emotional one. And, I was a corporate marketing guy. I worked in the technology industry. And one of the reasons I left, aside from getting bought out and the culture changing, was that I had no real passion for my technology clients. I didn't care about the cloud-based server system that we were, working on a pitch for. We get calls, emails, messages almost every single day from people whose lives have been made better by CBD, whether it's from us or from other people. And our staff too really, really believes this and feels good about it because we make stuff that really helps people. And that to me is the most amazing piece of what we do and what really is interesting to me. The thing that concerns me is we're going to go through this wave of a lot of products hitting the market. We're already in the middle of it. And as you said at the beginning, there's a lot of, crap out there or very deceitful companies that are taking that trust that people have because people are looking for help. They want relief from pain. They want to have a good night's sleep. They want to not be so anxious about their life. And so I think the rules will come about that will be better, but it's going to be kind of a bumpy road. And all we can ask people to do is really, really pay attention to dig into the information that your supplier or brand is providing, because that is truly important. But that's the scary part. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there that is really hurting people.
Yes, sir. Martha, same question.
Yeah, and that was, God, what Curt said is hard to beat. But for me, what's exciting is actually a double-edged sword. And what's exciting is that there are regulations coming down the pipeline. So a lot of these folks that are jumping into the game because they think it's a quick moneymaker will get weeded out. At the same time, my concern is that maybe the regulations won't be good enough per se. The testing regulations and everything that goes into that. That for me it's a big issue.
Got it. Thank you. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking the time today. Curt and Martha van Inwegen, I wish you nothing but the best with the Life Elements brand, and thank you for being a guest on the show.
Thanks, Len. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you.
All righty, and we'll see everyone next time on the Pot.Live podcast. If you are into the recreational side of the cannabis industry, yes, stoners, I'm talking to you, then thepot.com is the online and mobile destination for you. That's right, THEPOT.com, thepot.com. Where else can you find the exclusive Pot Mate of the Month? Take a pot quiz and win prizes. Scroll through hilarious memes and jokes and check out the latest podcasts, news, and trends, all while having your own profile and voice in the pot.com forum. Visit thepot.com today and get lit.